Hey guys, welcome to part 3 on the BMW restoration. Today is a good day. We got a whole black interior for the convertible. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting it out of the car or out of the SUV, and that way we can start getting the pieces slowly on the car. Check out the work I've done. It's starting to look like all black, the interior. Just installed the driver and the passenger door card, and then I got the interior. I put in the shiny gloss black console again. I took it out to put the original I got, but I kind of like the gloss black, so I just left it, and then got the new armrest installed. Still got to finish up the back end. As you can see, we still got to add the seats as well, the rear seats. We got that rear top deck piece. Got to reset the ROP system, figure out how to get the top up. So we got a little bit of work to go, but stay with, and we're gonna get this done one step at a time. Got a couple parts I'm gonna be working on. Center console piece was wooden, so I painted it gloss black. We're gonna install that. This is the shifter piece, and it had the wood on it. I didn't really like it, so I went ahead and ordered a carbon fiber one. It's here, and we're needing to fix this part. Here's the gear selector. You can see it's see-through, so we're going to try and paint those parts, make it look nice again. Install it with some super glue. And back here it needs some work. This rod isn't supposed to move, so I'm going to hot glue it right there. And then this positive wire is disconnected, so the gear selector light won't work, so we got to fix that. And then it's pretty faded, so my idea is to use some of this red tape, cut out a small piece and glue it in. I'll get back to you when the work is done. I also need to sand this surface flat so that the new carbon fiber will lay on it nice and neat. I'm excited to get that in the car. Alright, finally we have the shifter panel complete. You can even see inside when you shift the gears. It's a nice red color. Then I was able to take apart the parking brake boot so that I can possibly cut this out in Alcantara and redo it myself. Here's the plastic connector piece. Got the back wire soldered, and I use hot glue to just make like a heat shrink. Glued in the rod so it stays in place, and this moves up nice and down when this moves up and down. This piece, I figured out it goes in here because a little LED goes inside that track. I don't know if you can see it, and it lights up the letters and gears. So you just put it in like that, in case you guys were messing with it yourself and you didn't know where it went, because before it was just hanging, and I figured it out. Check out that date, 97. In the parts, an extra speedometer came with it, which is great. For a second, when I had them both out, I forgot which one was mine, but I was able to tell because mine is a 97 and this one is a 1998. You can tell right there. So this is a good speedometer. I'm probably just going to sell it, get the money back that I spent for the parts. Speedometer of mine, I had it out because I wanted to replace the mileage lights. So perfect, I don't even have to buy them. Today is the start of a really big project. Got a whole lot of work to be done. Got the garage to myself for the car, and I just had someone drop off this engine hoist so I can use it. I got 4 jack stands. And here's all of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be changing the oil pump nut with the safety wire nut so that'll never come off. And if that were to, even daily driving, it could cause engine failure by starvation of oil. Don't want that. It's a nice car. Why ruin it? So have protection. And then the oil pan gasket at the same time. I just have to buy some gasket maker for the corners, I think, and then thread lockers still. And then here's the automatic transmission filter kit. We'll go ahead and open that up. And the other front transmission pan gasket. Final thing, and the reason why we got to do this big job, is this small part. It's the shift shaft seal. So we got to do all that work just to get this little gasket in. But I'll show you right now how much it leaks from the shift shaft seal and why we're replacing it. So just sitting here and it's been leaking that much. And that's transmission fluid, so that's not good at all. That's why I'm trying to get it fixed. I also had to drop a pretty penny on this power steering fluid. If you know what I'm talking about, the BMW stuff ain't cheap. Gotta put some in. If not, it's pretty dry, so we can go ahead and move it. So the dang car gave me a scare and a half. One of the wheels were locked up, and I just did the brakes, so I put the rear in there and I checked the rear wheels. They were free spinning, but it's the front. You can't even free spin it, and it's because if you can see this track that's being cut in the rim all the way around, it's rubbing on the caliper end. So these rims are too small for these calipers, and it you know, it got my wheel stuck. So then it made a skid mark going down the driveway, and it didn't want to move at first, so I was thinking it had like a transmission issue or something. So to fix that, I'm just going to swap over to my Style 67 wheel I just got. This is a little bit of a spoiler alert to you guys. These are going to be my rims in chrome. This one's polished aluminum, but it's bigger diameter and it should fit without the caliper making the wheel get stuck. So let's go ahead and add that on and then bring the car into the garage. Sort of see what I mean there. I didn't want to just keep grinding it until it runs free, and it's not the way to do it. Sadly, I had to ruin my calipers. It's just painted, but we can sand it, respray it a little bit. Let's go ahead and add the new wheel. Now I don't know what to do since the Style 67 doesn't fit in the trunk. It's too big. So I can't keep this as a spare because it doesn't fit on there anymore. So I guess I'm not going to be able to keep a spare in the car. I got it in the garage. The legs don't want to go farther, so I have to put it on jack stands first. Then I can push the hoist in further. So we got the car up on jack stands, all 4. Now we can get to work. I've already taken off the exhaust bolts. Now we need to drop the transmission frame, brace bar, and the engine subframe. We gotta drop that. Taking this video for myself when I put it back together. That's a pro tip if you guys are working on your own car. I have to take off the exhaust system and gotta disconnect the oxygen sensor wires down here. So right now I'm just gonna make a video where they go. So now we can go ahead and get some new exhaust gaskets before we put it back together. I probably got to run to the hardware store. Now we can drop the transmission and disconnect the drive shaft. Thought I would update you guys. I got the drive shaft off and the exhaust, so I'm going to go ahead and get the exhaust flange gaskets. Probably gotta sand these surfaces though, flat, as well as the mating surface on the car. And not very good news, I've been trying to get to this shift shaft seal. As you can see how far the transmission has dropped. And I can get to it. It's right there in the center of the screen. Although the rubber is way too hard, it's like concrete from being so old that my tool, it won't enter, and I don't have any space to hammer it in. So I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do now. I've tried a couple things. Want you guys to witness the gasket coming out, because I've been dealing with this PETA gasket, short for pain in the. So let's go ahead and see if it'll come out. I'll be so happy if this comes out. The gasket around it was so old that it was like concrete, so I had to like chisel it out so I could just see the inner metal ring, and then I could get the tool to finally grip onto it. Been going at this for a couple hours. I think I see it moving, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I think I see it coming out. Haha! Look at it! It's out! Yes! Radical. It's on and in. Let's hope that it works good and doesn't leak. And we can start working on getting the transmission pan off. And same thing with the front, smaller one. Now that we have installed the shift shaft seal, we can go ahead and change gears. Move on to the transmission and oil pans. I was able to borrow as well the engine hoist, 2 jack stands, and the electronic torque wrench from a good friend. So we'll go ahead and use that soon. Do all the pans, service the magnet inside the transmission pan, and then today I got the exhaust flange gaskets, 2 of them. Also we got some Mega Gray, which is going to be good for the oil pan on the corners where it needs it. And then we got Threadlock Orange for all the bolts that we're going to be doing and torquing down. Got both the transmission pans off and the transmission filter. The front sump was pretty dirty, as you can see. So got to clean out all the oil, degrease the whole casing. This one was fairly clean, I was surprised. Magnets clean. Still give it a rinse. And then put some super glue on that sticker to put it down again. Original sticker, and it's that old. Clean that up. Now we gotta go under the car, install the new filter and both the transmission gaskets. First, we just need to clean up where they're gonna meet up on both sections. And then we can go ahead and put them back on with the torque wrench. Got both of the pans cleaned up fairly nicely. Not gonna get them 100% complete since I don't want to be spending all the time on these, and I gotta get the work done. So they're clean enough. The inside is what matters. Then I use some super glue like I mentioned. and just put a little bit on that sticker. Make it nice and flat. That's a pleasant sight from before, all clean. Shift shaft seal installed. Got everything back on, the drive shaft, the heat shielding. Now all we gotta do is put back on the exhaust. And right now I'm taking off the tie rod ends so that I can get the rack off, and then I can hopefully remove the oil pan easier after I move the power steering pump. I just got off this side using this loaner tool. Here's the part number 57308 AutoZone. And it took this huge impact gun just to do it. So there was no way I was going to hammer that off. So let's go ahead and do the other side. I'll show you how it's done. First you gotta loosen the nut. Here's a little tip I learned a while ago, is use a jack handle. Put it on the end of the wrench. It gives you more of a braking power. Leave some of the nut hanging onto the threads. And you put the bar on top of the nut and this pickle fork above the gasket. Slide it in all the way. And once you have it in all the way, you put your impact on Tighten. As this goes up, it'll push it out. All that torque and impact just to get that off. That wasn't coming off with no hammer. Even a sledgehammer. Here's an update on the oil pan. It's a pretty tough job to do the oil pan. You have to drop the front subframe. And yesterday I spent the whole day getting all the bolts off of the pan because it's meticulous how to get your arms in and the tools in. So we're gonna go ahead and drop the subframe now since we have all the bolts out, but the pan has no clearance. So I went ahead and degreased it, cleaned it up. That way when we throw it back in the car, we don't have to be grabbing it and getting our fingers all greasy. I did both sides. Now let's move on to the oil pan. I cleaned it, but it's really stuck on the grime. So now we're gonna have to scrub it, probably with a Scotch Brite pad. Get back to you when that's clean. That's just gonna have to do. It's clean to the touch. The only thing is just the grime that I can't get off. Wish I could have sandblasted it. Would have been super quick, but I don't have a sandblaster. And I think it's fine enough from what it was. Super greasy and grimy. So let's go ahead and add the new gasket and add it in the car. Make sure you add the RTV on the corners though. That's why I have some of that ultra gray. Got the pan clean enough, like I mentioned, but now I cleaned up the hardware, lined it up. Also, if you guys need to know, the bolts that go inside the transmission housing are 10 mil, as well as the others, but the short ones go in the center too, and then the longer ones are on the outside. Now, if you're wondering why did I do all that work, my oil pan wasn't even leaking. It was old and it needed replacing, but the main part is this oil pump nut. I went ahead and got a brand new one it's got the locking wire on it, so it's a locking nut. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the old one with this one, so that way my engine never has the possibility of losing that nut and then losing oil to the engine and seizing it, basically destroying my car. So this is my insurance policy. Okay, you guys, big update, and I'm very sad about this. In the oil pan, I found some of the timing chain guides, some of the pieces in there. So to be honest, that means I'm probably gonna have to do the timing chain guide service. I'll keep the old chain and sprockets. I just need to do the tensioners, like the upper guide tensioner, chain guide, and then I need to do the left and the right one. So that's a big job. I already got the bottom subframe dropped and the oil pan out, so that would make the job easier, but I'm not sure how many days I can use this hoist or the torque wrench, and not to mention the parts, how long they're going to take to get here. I need special tools. It's just, I'm not too sure what to do now. But that concludes this video. I'm either gonna put the oil pan on just to get the car back out and park it, which I'll probably have to do so I can return the engine crane. But it's just annoying that I'm gonna have to redo all of this just to get the oil pan off to do the timing chain guides. That being said, I'm not gonna install this until later on, when I got everything good up in there. I think I'm just gonna have to reassemble everything so we can get the car moving.